There's no such thing today as one nation standing alone, supreme over all the others, either in a political or in an economic sense. We're living in a time when this civilization, which has been built up for the last 1,000 years, is probably at the crisis of its fate.
Now we know that man is a fighting animal, and what are we going to do about it? How are we going to go about abolishing war? We will have to shape, won't we, a new code of international morality. We will have to set up a new system of relationship between nations.
The world today is not a large, scattered set of communities. We're bound together in 1,000 different ways. Mr. Chairman and friends, thank you very much for your overwhelmingly kind and generous reception of myself this evening. I'm here to take part, as you've been told, in the emergency peace campaign. I consented to come because, as has been said in Europe, peace is indivisible. What concerns our country of Great Britain concerns the world, and what concerns the world concerns us. Concerns us in economics, in health, in broadcasting, in every sort of direction of life. The world is mixed up together, and the good of one can only be gained through the good of each, through the good of all. There isn't a speaker on this question of peace and war, whether they belong to a church, a political party, or no association. There's not a single man or woman who has considered world problems today, but who is convinced that if war breaks out again, civilization, which was nearly wrecked in 1918, will be completely destroyed. War is not now, as it was in the past, even a profession of civilization. There's no such thing now as civilized warfare. You may see what that really means, or you can understand what that really means when you read the accounts of what happens now a war is on. And therefore, the most blood-sodden piece of land in the world. And now we're told that once more we must do it all over again in order to win something that's called security. Now, I want to say as definite and as clearly as I can that although politically and socially I'm a socialist, I base the whole of my case against war and for a change in social and economic conditions on the teaching of our Lord as found in his own sayings. Not the sayings of theologians, but what he himself said. And I also base my philosophy of life on the fact that every religious teacher, every philosopher the world has ever known, has always taught that the law of life was not domination, was not selfishness, but was to be found in those who were greatest, sinking their lives and finding them in the lives of the community. And that's true that it can be secured by economic changes which will enable all nations to get a fair and square deal in regard to natural resources and also in the sharing of the markets of the world. I will not agree that the markets are not there. There are new markets in this country at a certain time for a broadcast. I want to say this, that when it's said to me that this nation won't do this and that nation won't do the other, that some nations are so pig-headed, some nations are so obstinate, some nations are so selfish, I always want to tell those who say that, for God's sake, go and look in the looking glass and say it. Because I'm quite confident if everybody will only face up to this, they'll see that we've all sinned and we've all come short, not only of the glory of God, but of peace on earth and decent conduct one toward another. Now there's no hope for us, Commissioner of Works. Under my they think that it's the most important thing, which perhaps they know better than we do. In conclusion, let me repeat one thought. It's this, that when governments give to the solution of economic problems the thought and effort they are giving today to war and preparation for war, they will solve the difficulties that we face today, and the world will have peace. I want just also, because I'm going away now, I just also want to say how grateful I am. I'm afraid I talked rather in a hurry, but you can't help that when you are in a hurry and when there's a lot of things you want to say. But I hope that the result of it all will be that Senator Pope, who I met in London, and